Want dis ons land, dis ons taal, en sonder soek kan ons gaan stories haal. Waar we lewe in die duine, hooggebouw uit sand, die helder see en die goue straat. Die landskap wat oor generasies vertel, die harte wat in ritme met die golwe val. Ons land, ons taal.
Welkom by Kletskompas op 24 Mei. Nou hier in Namibië staan ons op die vooraand van 2 agtereenvolgende vakansiedae. So ons wil jou sommer by voorbaat 'n lekker rustyd toewens vir die komende 2 dae. Maar onthou, Kletskompas bly waar jy hom elke dag kan kry. Nou in vandag se onderhoudsegment gaan ons 2 gesprekke met jou deel. Nou die bekende Afrikaanse sanger Adam Tas het die naweek hier in Windhoek gekuier waar hy opgetree het by 'n geleentheid waar ons geld ingesamel het vir die Afrika Kinderontwikkeling Trust. Ons speel vir jou deel van Yolanda Nel se onderhoud met Adam en dan in vandag se uitgawe van Republikein is dit ook soos altyd op Dinsdag tyd vir ons mense en Tanya Bauze kuier by Shitalala Gorases. Nou sy was op 'n stadium as 'n kind in die weeshuis ook gewees, so sy moes klomp dinge oorkom in haar lewe om 'n sukses van haarself te maak. Sy het onlangs 'n regsgraad verwerf, so bly ingeskakel ook vir dit. Alles in vandag se onderhoudsegment. Kom ons loer gou na vandag se lesersfoto's en net daarna gaan ek saam met jou deur vandag se uitgawe blaai. Kom ons kyk na vandag se e-uitgawe van Republikein. Hierdie is hoe ons voorblad lyk vandag. Dit is vandag presies 50 jaar sedert 'n Boeing 727 tussen die destydse Salisbury was sy naam in Zimbabwe en Johannesburg gekaap is en Talana Huber. Sy was 'n lugwaardin op hierdie vlug. Sy woon deesdae in Henties Bay en sy onthou hierdie wedervaringe van haar 'n half eeu gelede. Ook op ons voorblad berig Henriette Lamprecht oor die verskywing van pasiënte uit die Katatura Hospitaal hier in Windhoek na die Veldhospitaal wat deur die brouwery opgerig is. Dis om voorsiening te maak indien die hospitaal dalk binnekort klomp ekstra pasiënte moet help met COVID-19. Is natuurlik aan die begin van die winter, so ons ervaar nou meer gevalle. Maar een van die pasiënte se kinders wat ook klaar dat hulle bejaard is, die Veldhospitaal het ook nie ablisiegeriewe binne-in nie, so die pasiënte moet buite gaan om dit te besoek. Ons gaan gou terug na die Koran, dan blaai ek saam met jou om na bladsy 2 en 3. Ons lig net vir jou so kortliks van die nuus uit. Nou interessante verwikkeling in die milie-driehoek. Gister het daar bevestiging kom van meneer Andrei Neetling dat 'n groep bekend as die Otavi Cement Groep belangstel om byna 70% se aandele op te neem in Orongo se sementaanleg naby Otavi. Nou die groep bestaan uit sakelei uit die omgewing en ook verkose leiers van byvoorbeeld die dorpsrade en hulle het ook 'n Amerikaanse vennoot met die naam Siftek. Hulle plan is om hierdie aandele dan te lys op die NSX ook, sodat Jan en San Alleman ook voordeel kan put uit hierdie belegging. Op bladsy 3, Boet Matthews wat daar vertel van die 50ste herdenking van die Katolieke Kerk in Kommersdal. Toerismebedryf tel kop op. Nou, hier word berig dat ons syfers vir April maand in terme van bedbesetting so iets wat beter is as die verlede jaar, presies dieselfde stadium, 36,5% was dit. So met ander woorde, so amper 1 uit 3 beddens in Namibië wat wel beset was. Lyk al baie beter, maar natuurlik het ons nog baie meer besoekers nodig in die land. En ons wys net vir jou gou-gou so ietsie van 4 en 5, daar's ons mense groot word, die jare definieer haar nie. Bly ingeskakel vir die onderhoudsegment waar jy meer kan uitvind oor Shitalala Gorases en dan laastens gou aanlyn geweld kan geslagsgelykheid omkeer. Nou volgens hierdie navorsing wat gedoen is, word vroue en meisies in Namibië ook benadeel deur aanlyn forme van geslagsgeweld. Lees meer hieroor en oor al die ander stories in vandag se uitgawe van Republikein. Ons neem gou 'n pouse en dan is dit tyd vir vandag se 2 onderhoude.
Love would come my way, sitting waiting for my life to start. Oh yeah, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd see a brighter day, that I would find some peace of mind, and love would fill my heart. Thanks to you, I got a reason every day to keep believing I can do.
Adam, jy was nou in Windhoek gewees. Hoe was dit vir jou?
Is baie lekker. Namibië is baie naby aan my hart. Jy weet, ek het baie vriende hierso. Ek kom elke jaar en kom kruip ek weg daar op Henties Baai, dan ry ek op Skedelkus toe, Torra Baai toe, ek gaan vang vis op Meop. So ek kom kruip 'n bietjie weg Januarie maande hierso. En ons doen verskriklik baie konserte reg oor Namibië.
Ja.
As ek so die dorpe nou vinnig moet opnoem, ons was al 'n paar keer Walvis Baai, Henties Baai, Swakopmund, Grootfontein, Windhoek natuurlik baie, Okahania baie konserte gedoen. In die suide Mariental, Piet de Lange se plek, Lapa Lange, wat altyd 'n groot partytjie is. En Piet sy vrou is, ag, hulle is wonderlike mense. So ja, lê naby my hart, ek is mal oor Namibië.
En jy was nou hier in Namibië en jy het bietjie teruggegee vir die ACDT Trust. Hoekom dink jy is dit so belangrik om op onderrig te fokus?
Onderrig is die pilare waarop die samelewing gebou word. As jy dit afskeep, is ek bevrees jy is besig om stront aan te jaag. Om dit net blaatant so te stel, jy kan nie jou jeug afskep nie. En dit is, ek meen, dan is daar geen vooruitgang nie. Jy weet, in Suid-Afrika is hulle probleem, ons sit met 'n regering wat eenvoudig net nie doen wat hulle moet doen op wat onderrig betref nie. Ons het 'n minister wat skole wil verander en wat werk in Afrikaanse skole wil verander in plaas van nuwe skole bou. Hy wil net hulle bou, hulle wil nie bou nie. So ek weet waarmee julle sukkel en om vir kinders boeke te gee is die begin van onderrig en om hulle te leer om te lees en 'n liefde te kweek vir lees. Ek dink is baie belangrik.
Ek het gisterand verskriklik baie daaraan gedink dit is een ding om terug te ploeg aan jou kinders, maar jy moet vir hulle iets los,
Ja.
dat hulle kan aangaan daarmee.
Ja.
Nee. En wat los ons onderrigstelsel hulle op die oomblik?
Ja.
Dis iets wat ontsaglik, nie net in Namibië nie,
Wêreldwyd, jy weet, wat is daar wat jy vir jou kinders los? Jy moet vir hulle voorberei vir wat in die lewe gaan gebeur.
Presies.
Jy moet hulle toerus met die wapenrusting van kennis om te kan gaan swat op die einde van die dag. Ek dink kyk, nie almal gaan swat nie. Ek weet baie van my vriende wat verskriklik suksesvol was wat nie gaan swat het nie. So dis nie altyd nodig nie as jy 'n entrepreneur is. Maar dit maak die lewe net soveel makliker as jy daai grondslagfase het.
Hoekom hou jy so baie van Namibië?
Ek dink ons is baie dieselfde, die mense. Weet jy om wat laat nou Namibiese mense my dink, as ek dit moet vergelyk met Suid-Afrikaanse mense? Die mense van die Weskus is sout van die aarde mense. Hulle sal die klere van hulle rug af vir jou gee om jou gelukkig te sien. En ek ervaar Namibië so. Oral waar ons kom is mense vriendelik. Byvoorbeeld Denties Baai waar ek baie tyd spandeer nie. Die mense is regtig sout van die aarde. Hulle bly in die see, hulle moet sout teruggee.
Ja, hulle moet
Maar ja, en dan die natuur skoon van Namibië. Dit is pragtig, jy weet, die Nakloof Nasionale Park en as jy opgaan in die Panne en daarbo en in die Caprivi strook was ek al 'n paar keer gewees. Is 'n ongelooflike land.
Jy het ook 'n journalistieke graad.
Ek het journalistiek geswat, ja.
Wat het jou laat besluit om dit te gaan studeer?
Ek wou nog altyd skryf en ek dink dit was maar die trekpleister gewees na journalistiek toe. Ek het dit nooit deurgevoer in die sin van ek het nie gaan werk in die beroepslyn nie. Maar dit het my baie gehelp met skryfwerk van my musiek. Ek moet sê dit het 'n baie goeie grondslag gegee om musiek te kan skryf. En hier sit ons vandag, my loopbaan is amper 20 jaar oud en ek het, as ek so vinnig tel, 6 platinum albums wat verkope van oor 100,000 CD's in Suid-Afrika en Namibië gehad het.
Adam, jy was nou in Windhoek gewees. Hoe was dit vir jou?
Dis baie lekker. Namibië is baie naby aan my hart, jy weet, ek het baie
Ons land, ons taal.
My name is Shitalala Gorases. I am 26 years old and I grew up here in Okanja Park. I was doing my Bachelor's of Law, so I'm a whole LLB graduate and I'm busy with my board exams this year.
About going to school, living here, growing up here, what was it like?
Growing up here was tough. But I think you did not really see something better, so you thought it was supposed to be like that. So I remember mostly we had soup kitchens. So after school, we used to food to school, and when we come back, the soup kitchen was the thing where you go get your lunch. So we would always rush home from school, go get our plates and come run to the soup kitchen so you can get your lunch. Obviously it was not always enough, you know, since there's more demand. So you have to be sure you should be early, you know, with your bowl, with your spoon and your plate. And
You didn't stay here your whole life?
Yeah.
Until when did you stay here?
I stayed here until my grade 8 year. My little background is that I had a violent stepfather. I went through a lot. I went through sexual assault, molestation, and physical abuse. And later after the whole court procedure, I was placed in a children's home, me and my 2 siblings. So we went to go stay in Eros. It's called Namibian Children's Home. and that's where I stayed for my high school years.
What did you do right after high school? Did you go to study?
After high school, I first went to work. I applied for the Namibian police force. And yes, I was taken. I was one of the lucky people that actually got a job while I was very young. So I think I was 19 when I joined the force. So I went. I was actually studying that year. I was doing this bachelor's of business management. So I put my studies on hold and I'm like, okay, wait, I'm going for training. So I went to Ndangwa, finished my training, and I came back 2015, and yeah, I went to training 2015 and 2016. I started working. So that whole year I worked and I started my studies in 2017.
That is now your law study.
Yes.
How did you decide to apply for the police?
One thing is that I fell pregnant while I was doing my first year, the one that I told you, business management. That time it was still Polytech, now it's NAST. So knowing that, coming from this background, you gotta stand for yourself. You gotta become an adult very fast right now. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna first put my studies on hold, go for training and, get some income so that I can sustain me and my newborn that I got now. And that's how I applied for the Namibian police.
Okay, and then why did you decide to go into law?
I think when I got to the training itself, I always thought I would do something commercial, since I was in the commerce field. When I was in high school, I had business management and accounting and things such as that. I never thought of law at that time, but when I went to this training, there was a subject called law. And it was very interesting for me, Okay, comparing to my law degree right now, it was basically like 5% of criminal law subject, a module that we have, where they dealt with, your constitutional rights and the police and what the police does and how they're supposed to take care of you. And, I got to learn all this and I was like, this is interesting. So when I got back from the training, I was like, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find out, do I have the required marks to do this law degree? And I was like, okay, now they are requiring 30 marks. And I was like, okay, but you're 35, so score. You actually, you actually qualified, So I applied for it. I always, whenever I talk to somebody else, I always tell them that I lived through every sob story that anybody can tell, that people will kind of understand why you did not fulfill your, fulfill your destiny kind of way. Like I can tell them, as a child, I went through rape, and because of those things, I just left school, or I came out of poverty and it was very hard to go to school, or that I'm a product of a children's home and I did not receive love, and all those things, it will kind of make sense, for somebody to understand why you did not finish school or all that. But besides that, I always tell them, if I could make it, besides all those circumstances, I think anybody can make it.
Because you've actually got the perfect excuse to throw your hands in the
Yeah.
and say, I'm done.
Of course I do, I do. But I did not, and I think mostly it was because above everything that was going on, school was kind of the center. I put my whole attention on school because, going to school was fun, and if you were doing good in school, you received love. So even though things were hard at home, the moment you go to school and you get a good mark, and teachers hug you, and you kind of become the center of, you get that little attention at school. So that was fun for me, and that was nice. And I think that's why I put so much of my time in school. I remember I used to hate it when school would close. I was like, the teacher would tell me like, okay, today it's the elder kids are starting with exams, so you don't have to come to school. You can just come collect your report Friday. And I would be like, I would hear her and I would say yes, but the next day I'm at school again, because I was like, it was a way for me to get away from everything that was happening at home. I think going to the children's home, okay, now that I looked at it, it's the best thing that could ever happen to me. But that time, I did not think of it like that. I was like, why is it not my stepfather to move out of the house? Why should it be us to go? And I was like, and my mom will still remain here with him and he will still, you know. So I did not like that point. I think when I went to court, I also asked them, but why can't we stay with my mom and then he moves out? Because I think if we are together, we will be fine. But I don't know, procedures were taken, you know, that time that I did not understand. So we left. And it was very difficult. I think the most difficult thing was that when I got to Eros, they spoke Afrikaans. And coming from this background, we don't speak Afrikaans. Here, praat Damara. But that time, there were those Tannies and they were very strict on the Afrikaans speaking. And I was like, but I don't understand this language. I remember they asked my birthday and the first thing I said was, die 3de September. And they laughed at me and I was like, what's wrong? It's 3de. And then they had to explain to me, okay, that's not how you use the language. But besides that, the other challenging thing was also because you were gone from the people that you know, even though, you know, it's hardship. You kind of made a family here, you know. You got used to these people that are the same with you. And when I got that side, it was totally a different environment. The language, the rules, the whole set. Okay, yes, there, everything was there. I remember being so excited because there was a shower and hot water. So I really did not lack any of the basic food and things such as that. But I still kind of hoped. If it was up to me, I was like, but I think all of my friends are supposed to come here, you know, because I'm like, okay, here you get attention and you get food and you get pocket money. So, but I always thought about still the others, you know, that could not make it, the people that were running to the soup kitchen with me, you know, to be on time to get their lunch. Yeah. My dream for the future is to be as successful as I can be. You know, I don't want to just end with my LLB. I still have hopes and I actually even saw what I will specialize in. So I'm still going to continue my studies. Jy, my lewe was nie maklik nie, maar ek het dit gedoen en ek dink julle sal dit ook as julle dit net bietjie push.
Dankie dat jy saam gekyk het. Nou op die voorblad van vandag se uitgawe van The Zone is natuurlik ons invoegsel elke Dinsdag met jeug en skole nuus. Kan jy meer lees van die jong Namibiese Olimpiese swemmer Philip Seitler. Maar ek wys graag vir jou een van die stories uit die binneblad gaan oor Maurits Devenish privaat skool. Nou die skool is 25 jaar oud vanjaar. En hulle destyds begin met net 5 leerlinge en 1 onderwyser, aanvanklik op Oshikati, natuurlik deesdae op Ongwediva. So lees meer in vandag se The Zone van die reis van Maurits Devenish Privaat Skool. Ons sien jou weer môre, selfde tyd, selfde plek op Kletskompas.